So Acosta by just under a quarter of a second. Pole positions for KTM in MotoGP, well, they have been few and far between. This is their 178th Grand Prix, and there's only been 5 times a KTM rider has led the field away. It's in the hands of Acosta. This is in his hands. He has been so good all weekend here. Is he going to find the second 36 of the weekend? Doesn't need it, does he, really?
Moreira again with the tactical genius, I guess you can call it, to head out picking the fastest rider. Who should I follow around Mugello? I'll follow an Italian. Who should I follow around Balaton Park? Probably Pedro Acosta.
Fabio Di Giannantonio started last weekend's Mugello Grand Prix in 7th place. Currently sits in 7th. He was able to fight his way through to a pair of top 5s. He came charging through to 3rd place in the sprint. But he'll want to be minimum, you think, at least 1 row higher up on that 2nd row, which currently features Aldeguer, Martin and Bagnaia. Bagnaia doing a solid job, having come through Q1, although he's about 3/10 slower on an opening run compared to his best pace in that first qualifying session. Good first sector, as you can see from Di Giannantonio, potentially firing him onto that 2nd row.
This is Martin with Miller for company. Miller was behind him on the first run, but he didn't really benefit the Aussie. He's back in 12th. They are both up behind the Acosta train, which has Diogo Moreira firmly in it. Di Giannantonio with the best first sector, best for him, and a good second sector too. Bezzecchi also strong through the first part of the lap, but that's not really his problem.
Yeah, it needs a decent, well, he needs more than a decent lap here, doesn't he, Bezzecchi, as Acosta once again is rapid through the first split. Bezzecchi, 8th place at the moment, over half a second away from the provisional pole. Jorge Martin stringing together yet another strong lap. Well, Acosta's now in sector 3, where he has destroyed the field. He's already up by 10th here. We're tracking Bez, and for very good reason. And this is him now through the 12 and 13 flip-flop.
How much does he lose then through this 3rd sector? He's 0.14 up. He loses another 0.2 of a second. Far too much for Marco Bezzecchi. Di Giannantonio up onto the front row of the grid in 2nd place. Bagnaia's gained time, and Bezzecchi once again has made another key mistake. Pressure building on the championship leader now.
A mistake into that final chicane on the brakes into turn 15. Acosta is threatening another 36 here. He has been supreme once again in the 3rd split. Completely untouchable, isn't in that part of this Balaton Park circuit, and it is another 36. Not quite the best time of the weekend so far from Acosta. It's another one, 36.8, but he demolished the field on Friday yesterday by over 4/10, and this is a demolition job at the moment. He's now over half a second clear of the Giannantonio. Bit of a head shake there as he squeezed a handful of gas for Fermin Aldeguer, who's back up into 2nd place. Top job this by the Gresini Racing rider. So Acosta on pole, Aldeguer 2nd, Di Giannantonio 3rd. Marc Marquez now then heads row 2.
This is barely a contest at the moment. Yes, Di Giannantonio is up halfway round, but it's in the 2nd half of the lap where Pedro Acosta is just marmalising the opposition. He is the only rider this weekend to set a 36, and he's now set more than one of them. Di Giannantonio's into the heart of turns 12 and 13. We'll get our answer out of 14 as to whether he's been able to keep himself anywhere near in play with Acosta through sector 3. The answer is a firm no.
Marc Marquez and Bezzecchi desperately trying to find themselves close to, and if not on, that front row of the grid. Been a superb 3rd split from the reigning world champion. Now we pick him up then into this final chicane. This is going to be tight. This will be close. A 1:36.888. Currently has Pedro Acosta on course of pole position, but of course he does. Marc Marquez with a sucker punch, a 1:36.791, briefly has put him on pole position because Acosta is not finished. Acosta then pushed back down to 2nd. Those two, of course, had a brilliant fight for the top 6 in Mugello last weekend. What's Acosta's response? Over the line he goes. It's not good enough. Marc Marquez on course then for back-to-back poles here in Balaton with a brilliant 1:36.791. And
that'll annoy Pedro Acosta. As I said a moment ago, it wasn't a contest. Marc Marquez certainly up for the fight after crashing at the start of the session. What a response from the reigning world champion. He said, didn't he, yesterday, 1 lap isn't the problem. 1 lap certainly not a problem for Marc Marquez this morning.
He's already had 75 MotoGP poles, 103 in his Grand Prix career. This is a Marc Marquez that isn't at this phase of his recovery from yet more right shoulder surgery.
Acosta's rolled off, Matt.
Getting
Acosta
him
won't be
faster.
beating him.
Look at this by Marc Marquez. Doesn't need this pace because Acosta isn't going to be on pole here in Balaton Park. Top job by Fermin Alligator, who looks like he is going to be on the front row for the first time in 2026. Look how hard Marc was pushing in at 12 and 13. How much does he want this pole?
Crucially for the World Championship, Bezzecchi's gone 6th, so he's now a couple of places ahead of Jorge Martin. So we've got Aprilia 6th, 7th, 8th and 10th, with Ayagura down in 10th place. Once again, he hasn't maximised qualifying, but Marc Marquez most certainly has. The dominant World Champion in Balaton here last year. It's another 136.785, just to put the exclamation mark on pole position in Hungary.
It is more Marc Marquez brilliance at the Balaton Park circuit here in Hungary. 2 sensational late 136.7s, back-to-back 36.7s have seen Marc Marquez take back-to-back pole positions here in the Grand Prix of Hungary. It was tight at the top. It looks like this could be just a straight showdown for the wins between Marc Marquez and Pedro Acosta, because they've got a huge buffer back to Fermin Alligator, who is on the front row of the grid for the first time since the Indonesian Grand Prix last year. You just cannot discount, can you, the 33-year-old Spaniard, who does then secure pole position number 76. That is not a contest in the all-time battle for the most MotoGP poles, is it? Mick Doohan the next best on 58. Marc Marquez then now has 18 more poles than the Australian legend, and that was absolutely brilliant. Fastest in FP1, fastest in FP2, and that crucially fastest in Q2 is Marc Marquez. He does deny Pedro Acosta what at one stage looked like a nailed on just what a third pole position of Pedro Acosta's career, a 36.785. More magic from Marc Marquez.